Hello and welcome to Health Matters on Channels Television. Thanks for staying tuned. I am Mary Alale Yusuf. Humans typically have 23 pairs of chromosomes in the nucleus of each cell, half from each parent, which carry the genes responsible for inherited traits. Down syndrome, a genetic disorder, is caused by the occurrence of all or part of a third copy of chromosome 21. The extra genetic material changes the course of development, resulting in some disability and characteristic facial features. It is the most common chromosome abnormality in humans, according to the Centers for Disease Control, affecting about 1 in 700 babies born each year. My guests on the show, I have two of them, are Dr. Atinuke Uwaje, a fellow of the American Academy of Pediatrics and a consultant pediatrician at Pediatric Partners in Lagos. My other guest, Mrs. Tola Makinde, the mother of a 6-year-old with Down syndrome, looking to reduce the stigma associated with the condition. You're welcome to the program, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for coming. Let me start with the doctor. So, Dr. Uwaje, what are these characteristic features that someone with Down syndrome can come up with?
Thank you so much for having me on the program. Well, as you have said, Down syndrome is actually the most common congenital disorder, that's been known. And right from birth, there's some certain features that a child would have that makes either the attending physician or the pediatrician or the medical officer, whoever is attending to that child, to have a suspicion that this child may have Down syndrome. So if we start from the head, you usually have a smaller head than normal, and the back of the head is flat, unlike other kids that have kind of like an oblong-shaped head. Then when you look at the eyes, the eyes, they're slanting upwards. In fact, I think people make the joke like they say they have Chinese eyes.
Yes, I was going to say, how do you differentiate a normal Chinese child from a Chinese child with Down syndrome?
There will be other features. In fact, as a medical student, I remember a joke that one of our attending physicians told us that a medical student already made a diagnosis of Down syndrome, not knowing that the parents were actually Chinese. Oh. Yes, and for a child with Down syndrome, the ears are smaller than normal and they're low set. All right, they have a flat nose. The nasal bridge is flat. All right, for some reason, they have a larger than normal tongue. So you see most of the time they do they protrude the tongue, even just when they're just sitting. Then when you see the child for the first time, for an experienced physician, the tonicity or, the way a normal child should feel, they don't feel like so. They feel kind of floppy. The muscle tone is lower than normal.
Muscle tone?
Yes.
That would affect sucking, like, when a child is born and wants to take breast milk. Wouldn't that affect that?
Not necessarily, all right, because we're talking about the musculoskeletal. Okay. And because of the, what we call hypotonicity, they also are very flexible. They, are able to turn their joints in different directions. Okay. So then moving downwards, in the neck area, they're more prone to what we call hypothyroidism. All right, meaning that there's a special gland in the neck area that helps us with our metabolism. In children with Down syndrome, they have the function is lower than normal. All right, because of the low set ears, they may have problems with hearing. Okay, all right. So now and these are just physical features that you can see.
Do they have intellectual challenges?
Oh yes, most Down syndrome children are mild to moderately mentally retarded. But let me quickly say that the fact that they have these mental challenges doesn't mean that they're not wonderful children. They actually grow up to be. You could, with enough intervention and determination, be able to get your child to be as normal as possible.
Okay, so when you talk about disability, are you talking about problems with movement? For example, do they need a wheelchair or something?
No, not necessarily. All right. For most kids with Down syndrome, they are not paraplegic, so to say. They don't have problems with. They have hypermotility, actually.
Okay.
All right. But you know, there could be other comorbid things going on. All right. For most
that
kids
means other diseases
that could, yes,
which are not necessarily Down syndrome.
Because they have Down syndrome.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So if you look on the palm of a child with Down syndrome, most of them could have what we call a palmar crease. So if you look at your palm, most of us will have about three or four
lines.
Yes, but for most kids with Down syndrome, we have just one, and it goes from one end to the other.
Okay.
Okay. So that, for us, when we see
so that's one of the things you look out for when a child comes.
When
just
a child,
check out
yes,
the palm.
Yes.